What's good? It's your boy Strom, and we're here in Laramie, Wyoming, a very small town, around 30,000 people that live here, and we're at St. Laurence O'Toole Catholic Church. Now, this is a small church, but when we go inside, you'll see how incredible it is. So the doors are open. Let's go inside and see what surprises inside. Now, the only reason I visited this church was because I was moving from Salt Lake City to Utah. This is the Cathedral of the Madeleine here in Salt Lake City. And when we talk about Christian pilgrimages, you don't have to go to Rome. Like, this was a 5-hour drive, and it was spectacular going through the countryside. You know, if you turn the music off, there's a lot of time to sit and reflect and be with God. You know, these canyons actually brought up a lot of memories, so going down memory lane, and I really needed God to deal with that stuff. There's some Western flair. Now, when you get to Laramie, always check the signs. If they have a website, check that, just so you know that the church is open. A cool thing with going on a local pilgrimage is that you, of course, get to connect with fellow Christians living in a different area. You also get to see the small little American towns. Had some good restaurants here. Definitely stop in, grab something to eat, visit the shops, support the local economy. Now, when you walk through the doors of Laurence O'Toole Catholic Church, you'll see on the ground this writing. It's in Latin. Catholic Church is big on Latin, and this is Christ, something justice. So let me know if you're a Latin scholar what that actually means. Now, you'll see people going into the church, they do this. They dip their finger into the water, and then they sign themselves. The water is a reminder of their baptism. Now, here's a shot of the stained glass windows. Very humble church. Stained glass windows in here are really spectacular. With the sun depending on the side, you will get a psychedelic effect in the church. And this is the Transfiguration. He's showing the apostles his glorified form, which is a sign, a teaser of the things to come. You'll see here the psychedelic effect. So I don't know what kind of glass or lacquer is on there, but light will come through the glass and you'll see the reflection of the colors on the pews and on the chairs. It's actually kind of cool. It's very unique. Other churches I've seen with stained glass windows, they don't let light transmissions come through like that. So it's very fun. I like that. Here we have Jesus, and he's teaching some kids, and you'll see a little bit more in detail the psychedelic effect of the stained glass windows with the light. I just find this fascinating. This is so cool. Now, the left side has mostly Jesus. In the far right there, you have St. Laurence O'Toole, the namesake of this church. Now, St. Laurence O'Toole, he was from Ireland. He was actually a hostage as like a young child, which is like a crazy way to start your life. And apparently he is a patron saint of head injuries. He was conducting mass and a maniac smashed him in the head. So there's the maniac there with the club or whatever it is. This here is the baptismal font. That's where you get baptized. They pour water on your head back in the olden times, and they still do it now, but like they'll dip you completely into water, and that's like the ceremony to be reborn. So this first window is of Mary and Saint Joseph in the stable. So she just gave birth to Jesus. On the right are the three kings. They came to pay homage to the newborn king. This one, I think this is when St. Joseph and Mary found Jesus after he was lost for 3 days, but he wasn't lost. He was in the temple just schooling everyone like on what you're supposed to do in life, okay? Absolutely genius. That's why he's king. Here we have Jesus, you know, he's just chilling, he's vibing, and he's just teaching people how to be virtuous. So important, so relevant. Now here we have Mary, It looks like she's being assumed into heaven. You know, we venerate Mary because she is the mother of God. Like, that's an important role. On the back of the church, they have 3 first-class relics. One from St. Charles Borromeo, who he had to implement reforms from the Council of Trent, got into a lot of heat with that. Laurence O'Toole, and then they have one from St. Elizabeth and Satan. Now, this is my rosary. If you touch an item to one of the relics, this turns that into a 3rd class relic. It's different levels, 1, 2, and 3. And then here we have St. Elizabeth. She was actually married and had kids and all that, but she ended up becoming a saint. All Catholics, all Christians are called to become saints, just live lives of holiness. Pretty much anyone can become a saint, and we're gonna need some for the 21st century. Traditionally, Mary Magdalene is at the foot of the cross, and women play such an important role in Christianity. And we have Jesus, of course, on the cross. You can see on the side there, he got pierced by a spear, and this was to confirm that he was actually dead. And up top here, we have Abraham about to sacrifice his son to God. Like, that was his level of commitment. Fortunately, an angel came in and was like, okay, just chill. His belief in God was confirmed. Now, this woman walking backwards, you know, Hispanics will do that because they don't want to turn their back on God. It's a sign of respect towards Jesus Christ. Now, when I was done filming, you know, I went up and I prayed. Prayer is very important. It's where I get most of my inspiration. This is called genuflecting. And so that is the tabernacle. That's where the consecrated host is. And so you want to genuflect towards that, and then you just bow towards the altar. On the way out, they have this sign. This is for the Jubilee Year. Happens every 25 years. So this is a very special year. Here in the back, they have an icon of Our Lady of Czestochowa, or the Black Madonna, very popular in Poland. And of course, they have all the information pamphlets. They have this one here on porn, which is probably one of the biggest problems in America and in the world today. Huge problem. This, you know, how to live your best life in a marriage. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get married. Not easy. And here, a miracle, someone gave up some lotion, so I guess they quit porn. Praise be to God. Well, we just got done filming in St. Laurence O'Toole Catholic Church, right here in Laramie, Wyoming. Absolutely incredible church. Very small, very quaint, but incredible, as you guys saw. And very special that no one was in there when I went in. Total blessing to be able to film completely alone. The camera, me, that's it. Except for Jesus, the Virgin Mary, St. Laurence O'Toole, St. Elizabeth and Satan, St. Joseph. Who else was there? All the angels and the saints were in there, but you know what? No pressure, okay? No pressure, because you know, everyone is on the same team. We're all on Team Jesus. This is the Catholic Church. We come together, we unite for a common purpose, which is to spread the good news. Okay, that's a lot. Now, on the way out, I grabbed a couple prayer cards. We have this one. This is incredible, okay? First Saturdays is a very powerful devotion to our Blessed Virgin Mary Mother. And what's cool about this is right at the bottom, it's written by Father Donald Calloway. Now, he wrote a book. It's a consecration to St. Joseph. You guys can look it up on the internet. That book is absolutely incredible. That is a must read if you're a Christian, especially in the Catholic Church, because St. Joseph has not gotten the credit he deserves. I mean, he's been a sleeper for literally centuries, guys. And that book goes into all the little details about St. Joseph's life. You know, he was very humble. Actually, in the Bible, I don't even think there's like a single word that he said that's written down in there. So Father Donald Calloway did an incredible job with that book. You know, he brought up a lot of things which I never even thought about. You know, I was strong on the first Saturday devotion to the Virgin Mary. I've always had an affinity for our Blessed Mother, and Saint Joseph was not even in the picture, which is kind of funny because he's the spouse of the Virgin Mary. I mean, come on. But in the book, it talks about, how smart, how intelligent, strong, what a protector Saint Joseph was. Because think about it. I mean, he had to have been just absolutely incredible because he was entrusted to protect baby Jesus, okay? I mean, seriously, come on. It is Jesus, but baby and then a kid. Also protect the Virgin Mary when she was pregnant. I mean, it wasn't easy back in the day living in the Middle East, okay? When they fled from, Israel to Egypt, that's not a long walk. They couldn't take a car to Egypt. They had to walk across a desert, okay? And marauders, there's a bunch of people out there who want to kill, all kinds of stuff. So Saint Joseph, extremely strong guy, very intelligent, and also very humble. Of course, we all know that was a chaste marriage. So superhuman strength, supernatural gifts that were given from God to Saint Joseph. You gotta read the book, okay? Father Donald Calloway, I'll put a picture in there somewhere. And then just to top it off, so I found out about this. This is the Unity Prayer, okay? I actually found out about this prayer from First Saturday Devotion. One of the ladies that goes there, she is such a zealot. She's on fire for our Blessed Mother and also for Jesus Christ. She's a rocket ship for Jesus, okay? She's a rocket ship. And yeah, she brought that up. So it was cool that that was in there. I got it. I definitely will be praying this throughout this pilgrimage. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you guys like and subscribe so that we can see more Catholic churches here in Forgotten America.